In 2007, I was freelancing for Hip Hop DX, and while I was freelancing for Hip Hop DX, I started a column over there called Slapboxing with Jesus. It turned out to be one of the more popular columns on the site, and through that, I got invited to the Rock the Bells Festival in California that year on behalf of Hip Hop DX. That year was the first time I ever met Shake, who was then working for Hip Hop DX. And the folks at DX saw how well we connected on our chemistry and suggested we should start a website together. And they would finance it, they would bring the ads, et cetera, et cetera. A couple months later, I ended up losing my job in the entertainment production world due to the writer's strike. And literally the day after I lost the job, I hit Shake, was like, yo, what's going on with the site? Because I kind of need money right now. And he was like, we could just start it ourselves. And we started it in October of '07 on a free WordPress, and here we are. When it started, it literally had 2,500 visitors the first month. And then it jumped up to 12,000, and then the following month, and then it jumped up to 25,000 the following month, and then it just kept doubling every month until we hit our first million followers, million hits 6 months later. And that's when I kind of knew that's when I kind of started looking at it differently, like this might be something more than just a hobby. So I started paying more and more attention to that. And then we started attracting more and more attention. And when we started rocking with the site, we were doing it for free for a long time. And we were just trying to figure out how we can make some kind of money off of it. So we were looking into like various advertising networks and everything else. I started DJing 2 years ago, just out of boredom, just to get out of the house or just to keep my mind occupied because I had been working on the site for so long. And eventually I ended up getting, when I moved out to New York, I ended up getting my first gig for Don Wills of Tanya Morgan's solo debut performance. And I'm not gonna lie, I got booed because it was a really bad set. Because I was only a couple months into teaching myself, so I didn't know no better. So I was like screwing up and all that stuff. I've gotten booed like a whole bunch of times, but eventually I got better and better. And now it's more or less like I get gigs at least maybe 2 to 3 to 4, in between 2 and 5 a month on a good bad day. You know, there'll be times where I don't have anything, which is fine with me because I'll just be working on the site. But when the gigs come in, they all come in all at once. And I think it's more or less now because of that I'm not that bad a DJ. In terms of the site's future, I don't know. Like, I just let it be. You know, whatever happens, happens. We've already branched out from just doing the website itself to myself DJing, Shake, doing photography and album artwork and just artwork in general. It took 3 years and 2 months for us to see any kind of financial revenue from the site. That's the one thing folks do not understand. It took a very long time for us to make a decent living off of it. While we were with OK Player and while we were with Complex, it still took 3 years. The first year we were doing the site for free, you know? The second year we were with OK Player and we still weren't making like a decent living. And I still had to have like 4 jobs. And this is when I moved out to New York. Like I had a regular 9 to 5, 3 freelance gigs, and the site. I moved out to New York in July 4th, 2009 with a whopping $53 in my pocket. It wasn't no overnight success. There's been times where it was just like very stressful. There's been times where I've always questioned if I'm doing the right thing or not. There's been times where I've thought about giving up because it just wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. And just eventually it managed to turn around and become financially successful for me, but it just took forever. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a part of anything, to be honest with you. I just feel like I'm a part of this weird musical renaissance period, I guess, you know, and like all renaissance periods eventually is gonna have to eventually it comes to an end. So I'm just gonna try to do what I gotta do until the proverbial wheels fall off, so to speak. So I've never been asked that question before. That's a good question. So I was like, I don't know how to answer that. Now that's some journalism shit right there. like, you know what I'm saying?